by Dr. Ajay.
Good evening to all. From the Department of ENT, I would like to talk about the audiological effects of occupational noise exposure among the high-risk staff in our hospital. As per WHO, noise-induced hearing loss is the most common, permanent, and preventable occupational injury in the world. And as per the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, it is very common among personnels in industries. Why is it important? Is because the healthcare sector is becoming a fast-growing industry, employing a lot of people, and we should be aware that 16% of the disabling hearing loss in adults in the world is due to noise. Now, what are the effects of noise? They can be temporary or permanent. Temporary means the person regains his hearing within 48 hours, and permanent is what we call noise-induced hearing loss. There are other non-audiological effects like high blood pressure, headaches, decreased sleep, decreased work performance. This leads to medical errors, burnouts, and staff attrition rates. And we looked at many potential sources like the boiler room, the CSST, and the Artificial Limb Center for noise. So our primary outcome was to determine the prevalence of noise-induced hearing loss confirmed by pure tone audiogram and autoacoustic emissions. And our secondary outcome was to correlate the duration of noise exposure with noise-induced hearing loss in these set of patients. We did a pilot study. We initially gave off questionnaires to the health workers and asked them to say which was the area which they felt this noise was very loud. And we asked them to grade how bad the noise was to them. So the grade was from grade 1, which was mild and negligible, to grade 5, which was extreme and intolerable. The boiler room, the laundry, the CSST, and dietary graded their noise as extreme and intolerable. So we did a noise level meter to assess the level of noise in these areas, and we found that the boiler section gave an average noise of 86.8 decibels, the Artificial Limb Center 86.2 decibels, the laundry department 81.1 decibels, and the CSST of 77.2 decibels. What we did is we went with the sisters in a group, went to the staff who were at high risk and counseled to them about the risks of constant exposure to noise. We also advised that they have to undergo a hearing assessment in our ENT OPD, and we gave them personal protective equipment. We then did a retrospective analysis of the charts of these staff from March 2015 and October 2017. Most of our staff who came for review were from the CSSC section, and they were in the 3rd to the 4th decades of life. Their work experience ranged from 3 months to 37 years, with most of them being between 6 to 10 years of work experience. 25% of them had systemic illness, with diabetes topping the list. In our pure tone audiogram, we found 64% had sensorineural hearing loss. And overall, 49% of the staff had evidence of noise-induced hearing loss, and 69% of the CSST staff had noise-induced hearing loss. So we found that the CSST workers had a higher chance of hearing loss when compared to the other departments. And the longer duration of work in these noise environment, they were more likely to develop noise-induced hearing loss. There was no association with gender and hearing loss or systemic illness and hearing loss, and we did not study the non-auditory effects of noise. So to conclude, the percentage of staff from these 5 highly noisy areas were 49%. And there was significant association between the CSST workers with noise-induced hearing loss. Longer duration of noise exposure leads to noise-induced hearing loss, and we should give counseling, awareness, and personal protective equipments to these staff and encourage them to use it. We should work with the administration, engineering, and legislative departments so that we can facilitate measures to prevent noise-induced hearing loss in these individuals. The reason being legal issues and work compensation is the norm in the future. Thank you.
And thank you very much, and thanks for sticking to the time. That was a very interesting presentation which you made. Just one comment from my side. So you have looked at the noise, and have you considered the duration of exposure of these healthcare workers over a period of time?
So each health worker, they worked 5 days a week, 8 hours. And that is as per the protocol by the Occupational Safety and Health Department. In spite of that, they have all fallen within the 90 decibel range. which is accepted by the OSHA guidelines.